Howdy, howdy, howdy. So you had a good show so far. Well, I gotta tell you, my name really is Ruben, you know? R-U-B-E-N. How did it get that way? Well, you know, my dad said, white people can't say Rupen or Rupum. We want him to be a doctor, let's make him sound Jewish. So I got complicated origins. I gotta do this intro before we can do anything else. I gotta tell you guys who I am. Okay, I got a complicated origins. I'm from Malaysia. You know Malaysia? Yeah? Nice country, Southeast Asia, good food, nice beaches, not so good with planes. Yeah, but I got this weird accent because I lived in Australia for a long time, you know? Yeah, some people say listening to me talk makes them want to go to the Outback Steakhouse and order chicken curry. How did I end up in Australia? Well, I don't know if you can believe this, but my dad, he thought I was a wimp. Seriously. This is wimpy. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I can see you looking at me. Yeah, 5'8", 140 pounds of pure man. I call it closet alpha. Anyway, Dad thought I was a wimp, right? So he sent me to Australia. Now, the thing is, I went to boarding school. I don't know how much you guys know about Aussies, but they respect people who can play tough sports like rugby. No, and I have the perfect build, right? For a chess player. But yeah, one very good thing about boarding school, it taught me my sexuality, you know? That's where I learned that, motherfucker, I am straight. I am straighter than freaking straight because for 4 years I was surrounded by more teenage boys, dicks and asses than a Catholic priest in charge of an orphanage. You liked it, okay. I'll try the other one, let's see it. Sometimes people don't like that first one, so we'll try it again, okay? I was surrounded by more teenage boys, dicks and asses than a sorority girl with a drinking problem. Yes, yeah, I thought you'd like the first one. You kind of looked a little twisted. Okay, so where were we? All right, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm older than some of the other comics. I know that, right? But there's no freaking reason for those fuckers to talk trash to me. I came up here, I did an open mic, this guy walks up to me, he's got a man bun, he's a barista, but in reality he's a Nepo baby from Westchester. You know the type, right? Yeah? Got a Rolex on, smells of coffee grounds. Anyway, looks at me, he says, doesn't a guy your age have something better to do with his time? I said, well, yeah, shit, yeah, buddy. I could be at the bar making your girlfriend my sugar baby. Boom, yeah. She's a pretty young comic. She looks up at me, she says, you're old enough to be my dad. I said, if I was your dad, you would be in medical school. There you go, there you go. Yeah, you know, you get older, you miss old friends. I miss testosterone. I love that fucker. We had so many good times together, he'd grow my dick big and hard. Now he only grows my prostate. He used to grow thick black hair on my head, now he only grows it in my ass crack. Oh. I was trying to stay fit, right? Okay. And decided to go do some yoga. Now, you look like me, you go into a yoga class, it's like being black and walking onto a basketball court. People make assumptions. I walk into that class, the teacher walks up and, you know, she's a Brooklyn type, perfect, blonde, whatever, sticks me in the front, advertising. We're so good, even they come. I had people behind me talking, going, is that Bikram? See, I wasn't sure whether you'd get that one, but anyway. By the way, Bikram, who founded Bikram Yoga, is actually on the run from the government. He has 14 Bentleys, and he owes the IRS $40 million. But anyway, so I don't know how many black men in their 50s can dunk, right? But for me, downward dog is just downward and stay like a dog. I screwed that joke up. I got distracted by Bikram. Anyway, you know, it's a good story, right? A good story. Anyway, so okay, So I wanted to get some inspiration to get fit, so I started watching Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise, he's over 60, he's doing his own stunts. I'm thinking, damn, dude, that's freaking great. I get up to get a Coke, tore my ACL. So I said, and then I gotta try some boxing, boxing, you gotta get a good rhythm, you can boom, boom, boom. And then in the background is a weird EDM type beat, like what the freak is that shit? It's throwing me off. It was my heart. Dude, I love you. Where are you from? You love my jokes. Here? Where? Which part? Well, I live in Newport, Jersey City. That's just across the border. Everybody there is Indian, Chinese, or Russian, right? That's right. It's one of the few places where brown people speak better English than white people. But whenever I do shows there, I like to do a serious bit, and I like to acknowledge that we are on land stolen from Sicilians. That's right, Newport, Jersey City is an old mafioso hangout. There are so many dead mafiosos in that ground, you could drill for olive oil. We're planning to do reparations too over there. They opened up a Dunkin' Donuts and the Indian community donated it to the Italians. So they could regain their basic culture. Oh, God. Okay. You didn't like that one, it's much fine. Let's move on. I'll tell you about my wife. I am married to, in one sentence, a hypochondriac therapist who believes in ghosts. That's everything good and bad in my marriage in one sentence. Okay? Because, firstly, she's scary because she believes in ghosts. She believes that if she kills me, she can still have me around afterwards. I've been married over 20 years, right? Okay, so the thing is, if you've been married for a long time, then who's married here, by the way? Several people, okay. How long have you guys been married?
16 years.
16, very good. I'm 22. How about you?
Yeah, but we've been together
23 years, yeah. Well, fellas, this is the right time to discuss this, okay? Because when you've been married for a long time, you get asked some weird questions, right? Like, who should you marry if the other person dies? Which we all know is a trick fucking question. You do not answer, and you sure as shit don't answer quickly with Svetlana from the strip club. No, that's not the answer. That's not the answer you want to give. Oh, God. That one got me in trouble. Yeah, what can I tell you about my wife? You know what? She's a therapist. She wasn't a therapist when we met. But then after 10 years of being married to me, she thought, you know what? If I can put up with this crazy fucker, and I can get a degree, well shit, I could get paid in real money instead of average dick. I'm going to have to go soon, so I'm going to have to tell you a couple things about myself that I don't always like to tell people. Number one, I repress my emotions, It was useful for me back in the day when I used to work in an ER, because this guy, he came in one day, he's lost his hand in a blender, and he's freaking out. Me, I'm completely calm. All I'm thinking is, damn, that's a good blender. But now we must finish with the mandatory brown guy joke. Mandatory brown guy joke coming. Here we go. Yes, I got racially profiled by the TSA in the 2000s, and it was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. Because for once in my life, someone looked at me and said, you could be dangerous. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!